well. On my thing it says you can. Damn, Kevin, you're on here already? Hello, Monday. I never got your message on Messenger so that I could send you that quote. Now, it's not ready, but let's see. I want to start this quilt. This is, I believe, Jeanette's quilt. Hold on, let me put you here. This is Jeanette's quilt. Earlier, I was going to come up here earlier, but, well, I was up here earlier, and I was almost dying because I was having to put this stupid batting on the back of the machine, and it was a whole event. I was dying, sweating. Right now, I'm making sure that the quilt is within the boundaries. All right, let's get started. So I want to say hello, Rebecca. How are you? Nice to see you this Monday. I hope it's a good Monday. Honestly, I was going to come up here and do a video or do a live stream because I was hurting so bad. I had a really bad migraine this morning. I woke up with it, and I finally got it off of me. Let's see. Okay, the bobbin's not right. Okay. The bobbin, sometimes I don't put it on right. I had to put a new... Hold on, we were going to get started, but nice to see you or hear from you. I'm going to turn you around so you guys could see me, okay? So I'm going to put a bobbin on here. I kind of raised up the temperature in here because it was so cold. I think the machine was freezing. She sounded so bad the other day. I ordered some batting. Let's see. From Marshall's Dry Goods. I have a big old giant roll. Come on, let's start. Let me get her to start. From Marshall's Dry Goods. Right now, I think I have 3 cameras going. You sound so much better. My machine was sounding a bit rough the other day. I think. Hopefully I picked the right thread. My machine's a bit linty because I was fighting with Mr. Batting. Hold on, let me fix my hair. I was like decent earlier. I was fighting. Hold on, let's see. I was fighting with the batting because I was trying to put it under the machine, and it was going crazy. And then I had to remove the machine. It's a whole process. So I didn't want to buy batting because I was like, oh, then I'm going to be doing all this. Anyway, hold on, let me get this right. Let me move you here. Hi, Becky, how are you? Yeah, that migraine kind of went away. I get them a lot. This is the quilt we're working on. Let me go on the computer and see if I'm live. I think the volume is good. Hold on, content. Let's see if I can find me. It's not showing. All right, so let me see if I could get the computer. We've been on here. Hello, Jeanette. Yeah, the migraine was really bad. I get them really bad. They used to be debilitating. Hold on, They used to be really debilitating where I couldn't. I feel bad for my kids because when I was younger, they were the worst. Now I kind of created a high pain tolerance because of them. And so I don't, I'm trying to do my hair. Okay, wait. Hold on, let me brush my hair. I look horrible. All right, let me show you the quilt while I brush my hair and try to make myself decent. How are you today? Hope you're having a good... I'm trying to, like today, I went up here anyway, even with the migraine, because sometimes if I have a migraine on Monday, the whole week goes to, like, I just lose the whole week somehow. And so today, I wanted to come up here and do a video, or do a live stream at least, or edit a video. I may edit some videos later on tonight. Do a live stream at least, so that, and then I moved my cameras a bit. I was telling my husband I'm going to cut my hair. I don't know if I can handle it anymore. All right, let me see. I look a little bit better, right? So let's see. Hopefully the volume is good. It says it's good here. I may move it down here a little bit. Yeah. You know what works for me, sadly? I remember having 1 year migraines every day in January, and I just couldn't take it, and I went for a run. And I did they were saying that you could do these runs. It's called 1 minute, like where you sprint real hard and then recover and sprint real hard. And believe it or not, you do 8 minutes like that, and that's all the workout is. And it's to get your blood pressure and your heart, CO2 and all that to be healthy. And believe it or not, if I get on a treadmill when I have a massive migraine, where it looks like I have a squid on my face, if I go on the treadmill and go for a run, the headache disappears after I do like 2 sprints. But to get on a treadmill when you're dying with a migraine is like, ugh. Let's see. Hi, everybody. Hi, Becky. Hi, Jeanette. Hi, Beck. Mary. Hello. Mimi. Clarissa, I hope you're feeling better. Audrey is here. Rebecca, thank you for being here. Kevin is here. Brenda's here. I used to take medicines, but it didn't work, so I don't take them anymore. Hold on, let me see on the computer. I'm going to move you here so you can see what we're working on. And then I'm going to, hopefully I could get it to go here to where you can see it from here. I thank you for hanging out with me, ultimately. It makes me want to come up here and makes me want to work. Come on. I need to get it to turn on. Okay. I'm trying to get the cable. Oh, I wanted to show you this. I ended up buying, I was so proud of myself this year because I bought, I don't know if I like the quilting. I bought 2 rolls of batting, and I think it came out to 27 yards from Marshall's Dry Goods, and I got 2 rolls, so it was 54 yards of 96 by 27 yards each roll. I bought myself 2. Yours is vitamin based. You're okay. And yesterday, this quilt right here is the last piece of batting that I had left over. This is it. I do have some scraps, of course, but this is the last piece of batting. So I went online. Let me see if I can get this machine to work. Okay, I went online. There you are. Hi. Okay. Right now I'm checking on the computer if I'm on so that you could see me. And there's this weird lag. Medium. Okay, that's good. Save. So I got it in the Marshall's Dry Goods. Did it save? Yes. Okay, it's saved. And let me show you. Let me move. Maybe I can move this. How can I move this? All right, hold on. I'm sorry you were in the emergency room. That is horrible. This really, I'm sorry. And you showed me your stitches, and man. I hope you get better. My heart goes out to you. I don't think I've had any major surgery in my life other than my tonsils being taken out. So that's been a blessing. But let me take you here. I wanted to show you. 108 Marshall's Dry Goods batting. let me. This way stops. You stop moving and stop shaking. I imagine it's annoying for y'all. But on one camera, you can see what I'm doing. I'm letting this go out so that I could show you the chaos I was dealing with a minute ago. And I got a camera that is movable. Like this one's movable, but it has a switcher on it. So I'm usually real careful with it because I don't want it to topple over and fall. And honestly, this one has like umbilical cords on it all over the place. So let me see. I hope you get better. Seriously, hope you get better. So I wanted to show you guys this. Okay, so this is long arm, and I got it to where it has like a little tripod, and I can move you so you can see the quilting. Can you see the quilting? Can you see the long arm? Isn't it beautiful? And I'm putting these beautiful flowers on it, and I'm using a very dark variegated thread. But let me share with you the chaos I was dealing with earlier. And I'm gonna move you where you're comfortable and I don't make you dizzy. On the back of the machine, I have to put the batting on this metal bracket thing. And the batting is so heavy. So I put it on there. Hopefully you can see what I did. And then my computer back here is so heavy. Hold on. And then I had to do 2 of those. So I was unrolling batting, or like, I don't know. Those rolls are heavy. And how big? Okay, the quilts that I'm giving away are all 86 by 86. They're considered queen size quilts. So, hold on one second. They're considered queen size quilts. And, hold on one second. Yeah, okay. Hopefully, okay. I'm out of bobbin. They're considered queen size quilts. They're really pretty though. They'll sit on a, I think they'll sit on a twin and they'll overlap and they'll have a lot of side space. And also too, they will, on a queen, I think that they'll sit and they'll kind of go to the side some, like a, and I think on a king, they'll just sit on the top of the frame and they'll be short. But yeah. But all the quilts that I've been purchasing from this lady are 86 by 86. They range from $39, $36, depending if she has a sale or a special. And they also range from, if you get them on Etsy, they're 30, they're $32 to $36. And no shipping, so whatever tax comes on top of that. So 36 to 42, depending on the quilt you're purchasing. If you go on eBay, because she also has a thing on eBay, the shipping. And she charges $13 for shipping for each quilt. So one of the quilts I ended up literally paying $59 for, which I think is quite a bit. But honestly, I'm not complaining, okay? Because there's no way that I could make these quilt tops for myself. If I sat and I made them and I bought the fabric, I think I would buy the fabric and it cost me like $300. So no complaining on this side of the neighborhood. No, I'm just so thankful that I could do this year. Usually when I find quilts, and they're not easy to find. If I find quilts, I find quilts that, hold on, let me see, automatic. That are in estate sales, they're garage sales, they're at thrift stores, or sometimes, man, you can find them at Goodwill. But at estate sales, you could find them. I've bought like a couple beautiful antique quilts for like $3. Beautiful. But then sometimes you'll go to an estate sale. Let me see. Back. I'm just gonna have a quilt. Oh no, it didn't quilt this area. So it just depends on, I used to go looking for them, but this is a blessing, and that's why I'm giving these away, and that's why I could do what I'm doing, because I could find a whole bunch of them, and she sells like 4 or 5 of the same kind. So like some of you like, oh man, I really like this one. Well, she has like 4 or 5 of them. Hold on, let me prove you. You guys want to go outside? Which kind of weirded me out. One time I bought like a couple quilts from her, and like I bought 2 of these. 2 of these. I bought in a whole bunch of the star ones. The stupid camera. Hold on. On the Marshall's Dry Goods, 80/20. No. It's a beautiful batting. You could get 20, I think it's 27 yards for $135. I should have gotten that. I ended up getting 2 rolls. It came out to $270 for 2 rolls of batting. Let me share what else I got. Hold on, I'm gonna be here. I'm trying to get you to focus on me. Hold on. What it comes out to, let's see. Move you here so you can see that. Move you here. Let me see. The lady who I think she buys these from like India or somewhere and buys a whole bunch of them wholesale. I know she doesn't make them. There's no way you're gonna make them and then sell them for $40. I think she probably gets them really cheap, but let's see. Let me show you what I got. Let me move you here. But yeah, I was wrestling with the stupid. Let me show you. I've also used bought fabric from Marshall's Dry Goods, and I'll show you. Let's see. And let me see. And I still have a lot of. So this is back fabric that I bought in from Marshall's Dry Goods. I think this fabric is beautiful, but you could see through it. It's kind of thin and it's kind of grainy when you touch it. But I got this one and I got a whole bolt of this one. I think this was, a whole bolt was $89. It came out to $5, maybe $6, right? With shipping and tax and all that. Maybe $6.50, $7 a yard. Which if you go to a quilt store, is $16 a yard for back fabric. I also got, when I first started at the beginning of the year, when I bought these quilts, I said, you know what, I need quite a bit of back fabric and batting, and I also bought this one. I love this one. I think this was probably like $7 or $8 a yard. It's a little bit silkier. It's printed. The design is printed on it, and it's pretty. I also got this one, this back fabric. This is like this one, silky, thicker fabric. I think I paid maybe $1.50 more for the bolt. So I think this came out to $103 for the bolt, and the other one came to $89. And let me show you what else I got just recently. So a lot of the quilts that I'm doing, that I'm giving away and that I'm doing these with, like I think I have maybe 7 more of those back fabrics. So when I ordered from Marshall's Dry Goods, let me see if I could turn you around. I'm going to sit you down. Can you see me now? Yes, I'm going to move you here, okay? Sorry, hi. Girl wants to sit. Okay. You should have seen me. Ignore the chaos. Is it chaos? No, not really. It's pretty good. It's been worse. I ended up buying... God, this is so heavy. I ended up buying this. I think this is like that gray fabric or that multicolor fabric. I ended up buying this at Marshall's Dry Goods. This, I believe, came out to like $95 for, I think it's 15 yards. But isn't it beautiful? Look. Isn't it beautiful? Carpenter Star, babe. I think she ends up having this quilt. She has it in white. And she also has it in this one. And I bought 2 of these. Let me show you one more fabric, okay? I ended up buying this fabric. She's beautiful, but you know, like the lighter color that I shared, she's a little bit grainy, which I don't know. I thought I was buying the same, but I love how beautiful and bright these colors are. So these are gonna go after I use the sheets that I bought on Amazon. I think I still have maybe 4 more. Buying a king size sheet at Amazon came out for $5 for the whole sheet for a king size quilt. So if you really want to go cheap on your back fabric, go to Amazon and buy some king size sheets. And I got a polyester. I just think it's just as beautiful, the sheet itself, and I think it'll wear really nice. But if you're a stickler for cotton, because you're a quilter, and you just can't change nothing because it has to be a certain way, I think that Marshall's Dry Goods has a really great selection. I paid, I think, $96 for this one and $103 for this one. But I think it has, how many yards? Let me see. I don't have my readers on. Lorena. This has 12 yards. This had 12 yards, and this one has, ay Dios mío, 29 colors. Okay, this has, let me move this. I can't move him. I need to go to the gym, man. Something's wrong with me. I was lifting up that batting and I was dying. Okay, so this has 12 yards of fabric. 12 yards of 108. So if you do kind of 2.5, I need 2.5 yards for each of these to do, because what, 36 plus 36 is 72, and I need 86 to quilt these quilts. So I need 2.5 to 3 yards of fabric for this. So I can do about 4 of these quilts, 4 quilts with this batting. The great thing about it is I have a whole bunch of leftover strips of fabric, and then if I sew those together, so some quilts that I gave away or shipped, there's a strip of 1 fabric and 2 side strips, so you could kind of like maybe go 6 quilts with all the extra salvage or scrap batting fabric that you have. But yeah, isn't that great? Marshall's Dry Goods. I can't say this one is beautiful quality. The other one's a little bit grainy. Honestly, I think like the sheets that I got on Amazon, they're beautiful. They're just, you know, it's just polyester with batting. It's not, but anyway, let's get the machine going. But I'm just sharing that I bought this, and then I also bought that batting. Up. Let me roll the quilt. Let me move you around here, out of my way. Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna move you here so I can see you, okay? And you can see what I'm doing, at least. So I'm gonna... No, I ended up having to clean the back computer because it has a whole bunch of batting lint. And I have to really be careful with that computer because it runs the head of the long arm. I also have a, what is it called? Ouch. I have Let me see if you can see me. I have a thing that clamps the computer onto the long arm. No. Yeah. It's a computer stand thing. And that sucker was so heavy, but I love it. I have one in the front for the front computer, and I have one for the back computer, because when I move the long arm, the computer is off the floor and I don't have to manage it. I don't have to deal with it. Let me see this. But dude, it was heavy. Oh, let me see. I also want to show you in a minute how I organize this area. I'm trying to be as efficient as I possibly can when I work, like have things that I need to grab quickly right in front of me, and things that I don't use, put them away. I had some things under the long arm that I needed to grab quickly. And now that I moved the room, it's really exciting to me, because things that I wasn't dealing with, now I have to deal with. Let me see. This quilt is a little bit stiff. Let me see. So I'm going to wet her. Where's my water? I have my water over here. I'm going to wet her. The fabric is a little bit tight. I think that once this fabric is washed, it'll get soft. I believe this is for Jeanette on the last live stream. All right, let me see. And then I need to... So yeah, I'm going to hopefully ship 2 quilts soon. I think I have either Betty. God, what's her name? I'm looking here. I'm sorry. Hi there, Terry. Hello, Becky. Marlene. I'm sorry. If you see me doing this, it's because I need my readers. Lorena. Okay, Aubrey says she... I would just finish them, girl. She found a whole bunch of quilts at an estate sale. Just finish them. There's nothing like... Hold on. Let me get this. I'm going to move you here. Come on, you can go down. You can look at me. I think one of the best things I like to do is when I finish the quilts and stuff, I just give them away. I don't care who I gave them away to. I don't care if it's a good person, an evil person. It doesn't matter to me, because I feel like the maker who created the quilt, I feel like God's answering her prayer. You know what I mean? Because sometimes if I didn't have a long arm, I think my biggest desire would be if I could get my stuff done. One of the reasons I wanted a long arm is I took my quilt to a long arm quilter, and at the time I was a mom staying at home with her 5 kids, taking care of them, and to have a long armer and pay her like $300 to quilt a quilt for me, 2 quilts for me, was like so expensive. I just couldn't imagine, and I understand, okay? And that's one of the reasons why I wanted a long arm, is so that I could like finish my own quilts. And it's turned into, sorry. It's turned into a blessing, like when I turned it into a business, so I got income for my family. But this season is such a blessing to me because I'm getting to really work on, oh, I forgot, I need to quilt that. There's an area that didn't quilt. I need to remember. Undo. Unsewn. Okay. So when I find them, I feel like I'm answering somebody who's in heaven's prayer. So don't judge me, okay? Seriously, I think like, because that would be my prayer. Like if I died, my thought would be, I didn't get to finish my quilts. Or when I got sick, the one thing that, and I think that's why I started YouTube. One of my big things was like, I didn't get to sew what I wanted to sew. I didn't get to work on my projects like I wanted to. I didn't get to quilt or sew my projects, or I don't know. I didn't get to do what I loved. I guess that's what I was, because I was so busy stressing out about college, trying to get my degree, trying to get my classes taken care of. I was not sleeping well. I would stay up all night and maybe have 3 or 4 hours of sleep most of the time because I was studying for college classes. Anyway, so one of the thoughts when I got sick, I was like, man, I wish, like, because the doctor said, if you don't really handle this, you're going to die tomorrow. So it kind of like put a major fear in me. And the major fear was like, I wasn't going to get to do and enjoy like the quilts or enjoy sewing like I used to. So I didn't get to do that. That was out of all the things in my life that I would like, that I was going to miss is just, I didn't get to finish those projects that I desired to finish. And that's why when last year I had a client who died on me. She died on me, and I think she brought me maybe 1 or 2 quilts, and then she couldn't afford to get her others quilted. But she ended up piecing like 10 to 15 quilts that I found. Excuse me. And her daughter was selling them for like, she was selling a big old giant box of fabric for like $10. And I was like, and inside those boxes were her mother's quilt tops that she made. And I was like, oh, hell no. I'm going to finish my projects. I have no excuse. Like, I understand why she couldn't. Maybe she couldn't afford to get it done, but I don't have an excuse. I can afford to get it done, and I have a machine to get them done. So let me move you here. So let's see. Don't let me forget that when I was working on one of the rows, I restarted the machine, and there's an area on the very first row that is not, like, I missed an area. I missed it. So please don't let me forget before I leave. Like, let's see what you guys are saying, okay? Let me read y'all's comments. Let's see here. How's y'all's Monday going? I'm glad I'm up here because this gives me a momentum for the rest of my week. I'm really glad I'm up here. Even though this earlier today I was feeling so bad, I was like, I don't know if I could even go up there and do a video. Hold on one second. Let me go over here. Let me go over here. I have a camera. I moved her. Hopefully you can see better in a different angle. I'm getting better on this live streaming stuff. Can you tell? It's getting better. Let's see. Let's see. You know what I think? This is so neat. Oh, wait. I'm gonna bring you down. One of the things that I think is so neat. So anyway, I found my client's quilts, and that's my first 24-hour live, which was last year. I ended up finishing 8 of her quilts. I gave them all away. As a matter of fact, one I gave to a TikTok lady who has cerebral palsy, and they did a raffle on the quilt that my client made. I long-armed it and bound it and finished it. But what's kind of neat is that quilt brought in $1,000 for the lady who has cerebral palsy because she was trying to buy a van, a wheelchair accessible van. Anyway, so she got that. Like, it's kind of neat. Something I found from an old client, and then I quilted the quilts, and then it became such a blessing to the community, but it was her work that made the quilt top. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, I feel like God will bring people around. So she's dead. She's been gone for about a year or two. And her daughter's just trying to get rid of her mother's love, which I know her mother loved fabric. And I literally drove by because they were having a garage sale, and I literally saw a quilt stand. I told my son, let's stop. And it's like God will bring somebody that appreciates the work that you've done. And I went and I bought all the quilt tops from her daughter, and I quilted all of them except one. Every single quilt top was quilted. Every single quilt top was bound, and every single quilt top was given away, to where it, like, the quilt top became what was called or ordained to be. I don't know. But what I think is neat about that, it kind of also woke me up about, you know what? How can I get my quilts done, or how can I get my stuff done and not leave it behind undone for my kids to try to figure out what to do with it? I think if the mother had her quilts done, the kids would appreciate them differently, maybe. I don't know. But because it was just a quilt top or just a whole bunch of fabric cut up and put together, they didn't understand the amount of work. But I think God knows the amount of work, and he brings people that understand you. Because I think, and I don't know, I always think about things from above, like heavenly things. I think she's probably looking down in heaven going, oh my God, I can't believe my quilts are getting done. And she's all excited. And I also think I gave 2 quilts back to the family. Like she has, it was her daughter. The daughter has a grandbaby, so it would have been her great grandbaby. I quilted the quilt and I gave it to the grandbaby. I think that's maybe one of the reasons why she made some of the quilts, you know, it's for family and stuff. But I think even if we're not here, God will bring people to answer like your little weird petition prayer. That's my thought. So I was so excited to get those. I was so excited. And I was so excited to do the 24-hour live. And that's why I did the 24-hour live this time, because I was like, okay, how can I get a lot? Because I need to get these quilts done. I need to get them done, and I need to get them out of here. Because the same thing, if I get them done, then you guys could enjoy them. You guys could use them on your bed. I gave one to my daughter and my daughter-in-law, which is my daughter, and they look beautiful on the beds. Does anybody of my kids want to learn quilting? No, but I have a daughter. Oh, hold on. I have a daughter. Let me see. I have a daughter that is very artsy and creative, and I think if anything happens to me, she may be the one that grabs this. And she kind of sometimes hangs out with me, and I teach her. Right now, she has a wonderful t-shirt business. She does a whole bunch of t-shirts for people. I think she would be one of them. I think my boys would love the lasers, and I think maybe one of my other kids would like the embroidery machines. I don't know. But even if they don't, shoot, if they sell the machines, that's a pretty decent inheritance, no? But so yeah, I'm really happy for my client. And then I talked to another client that used to work with her, and she told me like stories about her that she loved. She used to work for Joann's, and she's like, let me sort the fabric. And I think she was one of those like like, ooh, like she was she just loved fabric and just loved it. I believe she worked at Hancock Fabrics at one time, and then she worked at Joann's at one time. And you could tell that girl had a collection of fabric. And it's true where wherever we invest our money is what we love. And so she just loved fabric. But you should see her piecing. Hold on, let me see if I can find one of her piecing. Let me see if I can find it. I was going through here. Nope. She had a little bag. Where did I put it? She had a little bag of where she did like tons of 9 patches. I'm trying to find it, okay? Let's see. And I was going through, let me see. I think sometimes it likes you. But it really has motivated me because of this situation with her. It really has motivated me to be on top of my projects. It really has, because I saw her, like she has, if I could find it, where is it? I don't know what I did with it. Holy heck-a-ma-bob. Ooh, she literally turned her neck around. Look at that, how beautiful that quilt looks. Okay, hold on. She's trying to follow me. It was, okay. 2 hobbies in one, the collection of fabric. So, let me see. I have somewhere in my, I don't even know. I organized everything so well. I don't even know where everything is. Okay, so I did a video years ago where I'm trying to find all my projects and sit down. I finished one quilt on the 24-hour live. And then when I was cleaning this room around, I ended up finding these are done out of a layer cake. All layer cakes. I have 1, 2. This is my favorite. 3. This is another favorite. 4. 5. And okay, there's 5 right there. That's enough for a quilt. 5, maybe 6. Wait, hold on. I can't even let my dogs in. My dogs. Aren't they beautiful? Hold on. 5. And I did a video on this, but I only did the blocks. 6, 7. Aren't they beautiful? 8, 9. This is just a batik layer cake. And I need to look at the video again. I found these in cleaning my room. No judging. So the other day I found these and I was like, oh my God. And in a live stream, I ended up doing a big one of these, like a big one, just the same style, but then I put a border on it and I quilted it with minky fabric. I did a video and I was making that center, and these were supposed to go all the way around. Let me see. Hold on. What did you guys say? Let me listen. No one wants to sew. I also think, Becky, it comes with time. I fell in love with sewing very young. But I think, like, someone told me, and I thought it was so rude, but a compliment at the same time. She said to me that quilting is a dying art. I said, no, it's not. Just because you don't do it doesn't mean there are hundreds of wonderful people that sew. I don't think quilting is a dying art. I think, but anyway, I gave a quilt to one of her granddaughters, two of her granddaughters. I gave them each a quilt. And she was so surprised at how beautiful the quilts are. And she's like, oh, this is a dying art. I go, no, it's not. But just because there's people out there that don't do it, I think in time, my grandma was a sewer, so I wasn't interested in sewing. My aunt was a sewer, but they used to sew garments. And so when I started sewing my senior year in high school, because I didn't have money to buy clothes, but I had money to buy fabric. You know, I'm in the generation where clothing was more expensive to purchase than purchasing fabric. Now I think fabric is more expensive and buying garments is very inexpensive. Kind of like flipped a little bit. But I'm in the generation where it was the other way around. So my aunt used to make a lot of beautiful clothes for me and my cousin. And so I think as time goes on, quilting is like something that, for me, I think one time I was real sad and sewing kind of took that sadness away because it gave me a sense of creativity and a way to decompress my life. So I think that as time goes on, our children may like find the gift of it, I guess. But, you know, hey, who knows? Someone asked me this question. So let me see. What is one thing I would say to a new long armer about paying themselves back for the long arm purchase? What I would say to you is that don't worry about reimbursing yourself, to be honest. As time goes on, your long arm will outlast your bill. Does that make sense? So I got mine in 2009. It took me 7 years to pay my long arm off. It took me 7 years to pay it back or pay the debt of it off. I've had it for 15 years now because I got it in 2009. So we're in 2025. My recommendation is don't pressure yourself concerning that. Enjoy the gift of the long arm. I want you to enjoy it. This gift, this long arm, though they are expensive and they do cost some money, I believe that if you just give it to God, like the bill, the money, I think the long arm will outlive me. It has already surpassed, like the long arm, I've already paid the long arm off. It took me 7 years. Well, it took me less because at one time I finally just paid a big chunk of it and paid it completely off. So I think life is too short to worry about money, and you got yourself the long arm because you just wanted, I want you to look at your long arm as a dream come true, like God gave you your dream, and enjoy the dream and stop focusing on the money. Because no matter what, the money that you invested in the long arm or the money that you would have had in your bank account, sooner or later, there's a scripture in the Bible that money makes itself wings. That also the Bible says that money is a defense. So money can protect you. If you save it, it's a way of defending yourself and protecting yourself. So let's say if something happens in your life and you get sick, you have money to be able to pay for medical bills or whatever. But either way, the long arm itself, no matter what kind of long arm you have, it will pay you back hundreds of folds. if you have an attitude of gratitude and enjoying it and not burdening yourself concerning the money that you invested in it. Because no matter what, you're going to get it back. And I think if you're constantly like, if you, for example, when I first got the long arm, I didn't have clients. I didn't even know how to use the machine. It was just a dream I wanted. It was just a dream. And so for a couple years, I really didn't use it because one, I had put so much money into it. I was scared to use it because I was scared to break it. So that's stupid. I should have used it while it was under the warranty and broken it. And then the blessing is when my husband lost his job, then somehow it became a business. I was telling everybody in the other live stream, like, this kind of became like an accident. Like, I don't dream this big and I'm not this smart. It was just kind of an accident. I never thought long arm quilting could be a moneymaker. I know you guys are seeing me and you're like, oh, you could turn this into a business. Oh, you can make money. Yes, you can. But I didn't think I didn't think this big. I didn't think this smart. But I did think like, oh my God, I can make quilts for my kids. Oh my Lord, I can make quilts for people and I can love people with them. Oh my God, like I just thought not about the financial gain of it. I thought about the what is it? How can I say this word? I thought about the the gift it would give me because I really do find I had a migraine today and I felt miserable and I felt miserable. I felt like I felt like I had a squid on my face and just like a bubble. I felt like a bubble head and the migraine was miserable. I had a bad attitude. I was like, blah. I felt slimy, kind of slimy. And then I went up here and I started getting the long arm ready. And I think something that money can't give you, but creativity can. Money comes with its problems, but being creative, like it's such a neat thing to sit down and sew something. And right now you just see this, right? But maybe in a week or two, you'll see a quilt top. And then when you quilt the quilt, now you see your grandkids hugging that quilt top. Like, I want you to see the gift that the long arm can give to you and to others around you, not the money you spent. Because you're going to spend money on everything, toilet paper, paper towels, groceries. You're going to use your money on stuff that you flush down the toilet, food. And this is an asset. This machine will hold its value. I bought it for $40,000 with all the bells and whistles. Now the machines, if I was to replace this machine, it's worth $60,000. And that's just the basic model. So he says, okay, well, hold on, let me read what you say. So I guess what I'm trying to say is like, trust God in the gift. If he gave you a long arm, trust him in it and trust that he's the one that will provide for it and he's the one that will help you take care of the bill. I was making payments on the long arm, and the neat thing is, it's what I think is neat. My husband, he has his own job, he has his own, but I was able to quilt enough quilts to make the payments for all those years. God will bring me enough clients to make the payment. And I never paid attention, but here came the payment, and all of a sudden I had 5 quilts or 6 quilts to quilt, or whatever I was quilting, maybe 3 or 4, and those 3 or 4 quilts, depending on the size, or 6 baby quilts, or whatever I got, it was always a substantial amount of money that I was able to grab that money that I made from that client, and I was able to put on my long arm quilting machine payment, and this way it covered the bill. And that was just so neat. That was just so neat to see that in my life. And then it got to a point where I established a better, more clientele, and I was saving money and I was still paying that bill. And then I sat down and I just paid the whole thing off. But just, I don't know, bills are always going to be there. But if you, I don't know if I'm saying it right. Hold on. Let me read your other comment. Okay. Rena, okay. I'm going to post your, I think, okay. I think you're worth trying your dream. And if you're, and I started a church, and they told, my husband said, I guess I'm going to be paying the bill for the church on top of the bill on the house, and I'm going to be stuck with it. And you know what? He never had to pay the bill for the church, and God was always bringing people to the church, and God didn't need his money. And so, but I just want you to know that add God to it, like put God in your dream. And if God, I believe, put God in your dream. One of the reasons why I'm doing this, and I know you guys are just like, wow, she's just blessing people with quilts, and y'all are looking at right, you're seeing. But one of the reasons I'm doing it is I asked God to give me the long arm quilting machine. I asked him to give me the long arm quilting machine, and I made a promise to him. And the promise was, because at the time I was making baby quilts, and the baby quilts were taking me forever to make, and I was making baby quilts, and I was praying for the quilts, and I was asking God to bless the quilts and touch the quilts, and it was taking me forever to make these baby quilts. And I asked God if he would give me the long arm, that I would give quilts away. And initially it was for babies, okay? And ultimately, whether you know it or not, the reason I'm giving these quilts away is because God gave me the long arm. God gave me the long arm, and I want to keep my promise to him. And so what I would do is every year I have my own personal quota of quilts I want to give away, or how many quilts I want to give away, or quilts of how many people I want to bless with them. And, some of it, I would find antique quilts. And, those that I would ask God, can you get me some antique quilts so that I could give some quilts away? Because I didn't have time to piece a lot. I didn't have a lot of time to piece. So I asked him, so he gave me the long arm. And then I remember hiring one of my sister-in-laws, and I got her the serger, and I would have her make these basic little quilt tops, and small little quilt tops. And to keep my promise, I would pay her to quilt the quilt tops, and then I would get my little long arm. I would get my little long arm, and I would quilt those little quilt tops to keep my promise to God. And so this year, the reason I went and I spent so much money on batting and back fabric is I'm keeping that same promise. I'm supersizing, keeping that promise, because before I would do maybe 5 or 6, maybe 10, if that, quilts for people. And this year I kind of supersized it because I found all these beautiful quilts. And so this year I've done, I believe I'm at 35 quilts that I have donated and given away. And I want to honor the gift of having it. So I feel like if you kind of just stop looking at the financial aspect of it, you can look at it in a different angle of if you have a long arm, God, this is a huge treasure to have one, and thank God for it. Thank God for the gift of it. And you can't outgive God, I've learned. For example, the more I give these quilts away, the other day I gave these quilts, 3 quilts away at this place. And then the person saw me giving them away. And then they're all of a sudden, what do you do? What's your business? And I think it's funny. I gave the quilts away, and then I got this huge embroidery job that I never expected to get. That's not why I gave it. That's not why I was doing the quilts. You can't outgive God. So if you have a talent, a gift, an ability, like dedicate it to God and use it for his kingdom. And I think you'll never worry about anything. I know you guys are like, wow, she spent money on this, or she spent money on that, or I don't know. I don't think I can ever outgive God. Here I got this big job, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to buy batting with that money, and I'm going to buy back fabric with that money. And so I think also, like, pray for your business. God can bless it. And God will give you the desires of your heart. Just pray. I guess in a lot of it, oops, sorry. It's all turned around. Sorry. Oops, come on, follow me. Yeah, come on, follow me. I don't know. I want to encourage you that I'm 53 years old or going 54. The things I used to worry about when I was young really aren't that important anymore. The bills that I used to, I don't know, and the things that I used to panic about when I was young, I think about it like, wow, I sure had trust issues, or, I mean, I still made it through. Like, I still survived it. Yes, yes, I do pray over the clothes. What's killing me is the cost of batting. I can't afford to finish the quilt tops I have. I don't know. I don't know. It'll work out. Pray. Ask God to help you find batting. I get the best deals. I find the best places, but I also pray for everything. I pray for everything. And the other day, for example, I asked God last year, Lord, I want to do more quilts so I could give more quilts away. And I was having a hard time finding quilt tops, from estate sales and stuff. I had already finished them all, except one. I only have one here. I had already finished them all. I already got rid of them all. But there's one thing about doing for yourself and one for doing, there's this doing for yourself or doing for others. It has a different, I have a friend who has hundreds of quilts in her house, and she acts like she acts like she's poor, but she's really well off. She will not do anything for nobody but herself, which is fine. You could be anybody. You could be that way. I'm not saying it's wrong. And she has a really hard time when she sees me giving away my quilts. I have found, well, I'm going to tell you this story just real quick, because this is when I was a little girl, I always gave things away. Always. I always gave things away. I was always a giver. And I remember, like, I used to do hook rugs. I used to do these hook rugs, and then I would sit for hours making them, and then I would give it to my grandma, and then I would make another one, and I would give it to my friend, and I would make another one. And I don't know. There's something about giving that has really been a deep part of who I am. And anyway, when I was a little girl, I would give anything away. I would give my time. I would give my strength. I've always been a very giving human being. And I remember when I moved in with my husband, and my husband is a really hardworking man. He's older than me. He was very stable financially, and I moved in with him, and I remember standing at the door of this little apartment that I had. And it's crazy, the apartment, the way my husband decorated it was like exactly my style, weirdly. And I remember anyway, so I moved in with him, and I was young. I was like in my 19, I was 19 or 20. I was probably 19 years old, maybe 20. Anyway, I remember standing at the door, and I heard this voice. And I believe this voice was the voice of God or the Holy Spirit. I didn't know God at the time. I wasn't a Christian at the time. I wasn't a believer. As a matter of fact, I didn't think that God was real. I wasn't a Christian. And I remember standing at the door and closing the door, and I heard this voice. He says, keep giving. Keep giving. And he said to me, keep giving and you'll never lack. And to this day, I have years and seasons where I'm sewing, like I'm giving quilts, or I'm giving resources that I own. And it's because of that. If you keep giving, like the Bible says, he who gives shall receive, and he who withholds shall still lack. So if you give and you give of yourself, or you give of your resources, and you're a giver, you'll still receive. You'll keep receiving. God will give you back because he can trust you with what he gave you. But if you have something and you act like a miser and you hold on to it, and it's mine, or you have a bad attitude about giving, he says, he who withholds will still lack. So no matter how much you hold on to something, no matter how much you try to hold on to money, you'll still never have enough. Even if you have millionaires who have millions of dollars, still don't feel like they have enough, because when there's enough for somebody, I just do believe that, and so ever since I heard that when I was closing the door at that apartment, it's just, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep giving. And I'm going to be generous. And I'm going to give if I can, or I have the ability to give. And let me just say this, the more I've given, it's almost like today, today I was putting that stupid batting on that bar, and then I have like a big old roll of Minky, and then I have another roll of Minky, and I was laying in the mess of it, and I go, this is what it looks to be overflowing. I was so frustrated with how much stuff I have. And my dog, lately she's been really, this little angel has been real sweet. Like, she has to be on top of me. Well, I also think she likes coffee. She likes my coffee. But she has to be on top of me. And I was laying on the floor, and she's laying on the Minky. And I'm just like laying there. and I'm frustrated because there's batting everywhere. There's fabric everywhere. There's a mess everywhere. And the Bible says he who gives, like you will have so much, it's overflowing. Like, it's overflowing. When you give, and you give like as a gift from God, like unto God, it will be overflowing. And so I was laying there on the batting, and I was sweating to death. And you should have seen me. It was a mess before I started. And I was like, so this is what overflowing feels like. It feels like too much. I guess what I want to say is just, I don't know, pray to God about it. Give it to God. Don't worry about it. dedicate it to God. I don't know, like, honor God with it. Honor God with your money. Honor God with your gifts. And then, like, man, let's see what God can do and how he can explode your blessing. But yes, so that's why this year I was like, wow, look, Lord. And I'm so excited. It gives me more joy. And I could keep them all. I could keep them all like my client. I could keep them all. I could have them in a closet, in a shelf, and I could have all these beautiful quilts. But why? When I could give them to somebody, bless somebody with them, they will enjoy it, they'll use it. It's a treasure that I'm giving them, because the Bible says where your treasure is, your heart will be. And I guess, like, I want my treasure to be like the people that I want to just love, that I don't know, just to love people. I guess what I'm just trying to say is, like, if you got a long arm, don't regret it. Don't have buyer's remorse. Use it, enjoy it. You don't know what, I got my long arm and everybody was, I ended up having a war with my family about it. Like, it was hell. And I remember touching the long arm and I said, you know, one day you come with a lot of controversy, machine. One day you're going to be a blessing for my life. And who would have thought that having a long arm would have given me a YouTube channel, a TikTok channel, a community that comes and watches me and hangs out with me. Who would have thought that just playing with my long arm would make me do beautiful banners and do quilts that I give away to strangers? The long arm has been a blessing in my life, because God gave it to me. Let's see. I would go to Marshall's Dry Goods to find batting and back fabric. You need to go on Marshall's Dry Goods. There is a retail area and a wholesale area. Go to wholesale. The reason you want to go to wholesale, but the problem with wholesale, in the wholesale area, you're going to have to buy in bulk. That's the problem with the wholesale area. You have to buy in bulk. In the retail area, you could just buy by yard. But you could buy the more, so I guess, I hope I answered your question. If not, I'm sorry, I went on a tangent. Please forgive me. I just enjoy it. And you see if you could find, one of the things when I first got my long arm, what I recommend you could do, like, you could literally quilt little tiny quilts and sell them for $50. You could literally just find ways to just enjoy yourself and make money. Money will come with it. It has for me. Just learn your machine. Learn it. Know it backwards and forwards. I guess your question is, what would I tell a new long armer? Get to know your machine so you're ready for your clients. Get to know it. Right now, I have a whole bunch of people asking me to laser stuff for them. And it's embarrassing on this end, it's kind of embarrassing because I've been so busy long arming and working for clients on my long arm quilting that I haven't really invested a lot of time on the laser. So at this current time, I'm not personally ready to take on clients on the laser. I'm not. And I'm not ready for it, which is a mistake. Because, like, there's this lady, she wants me to do wine glasses, laser wine glasses. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I don't want to do that. And here I have an opportunity to make a lot of money, and I'm not ready for it. So if you're new and you just got a machine, one of the things I do tell you to do, be ready so that when the blessing comes, you're ready to take the blessing. For example, yesterday I got another embroidery job, and because I've done embroidery for so long, I could literally take the hat job. It's a hat job, and it's a hat job with vinyl on it. I know what I'm doing. I could take that job, get downstairs, do it, and then I can make money, and I don't hesitate because I know how to run both the machines, how to embroider a hat. I know how to do what I need to do. But if you ask me to do something with the laser, I am very cautious and hesitant because I don't want to ruin what they have. And so if you're new to long arming and you just got your long arm quilting, you need to learn that machine. If you can, make yourself every day get on that darn machine, quilt something on it, find material that's cheap, go to Goodwill and quilt Goodwill fabric, buy cheap batting, which is dry. I think Marshall's Dry Goods is a good place. Also somewhere else, you could literally look it up. I think even Amazon has cheaper batting. Just try. Go to estate sales or flea markets and find quilt tops and go ahead and quilt them. If you want to be a custom quilter, quilt them and learn how to use rulers. Learn how to move the machine in such a way that you could custom quilt. I guess those are my recommendations, but I think a lot of people, when they first get their long arm, all they're worried about is the money. And the only way you could get your money back is if you know how to work the machine. And I put a lot of money on those lasers, and I've gotten some of my money back, but they're paid in full. I hope I'm encouraging you. Jennifer, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. The reason why I recommend that you really put a lot of effort on learning your equipment is because, and learn to screw up on your mom's stuff and then learn how to fix it. I went a company here in Shirts, and they ended up getting a long arm quilting machine, and they don't know how to work the long arm. I ended up having to go and help them 3 times because they were screwing up clients' quilts. And it kind of was frustrating because they're ready to take work in when they're not ready. They don't even know how to work the machine. You know, you can't run, let's say, you can't be an Olympian if you haven't trained for it. I know it's a physical thing, right? Olympian athletes have been training when no one saw them. And then all of a sudden here, when they do trials, they win or they are succeeding. That success didn't come without the back work that no one saw. So I do recommend that you just keep investing time in the machine, and anytime, I remember I was telling my best friend, I said, I need to work on my long arm quilting machine. I need to learn how to stitch in the ditch. I need to practice this and that. I need to work on this. I was always trying to figure out how to get better at what I was doing. And now I could come up here and quilt the heck out of anything. And I had a friend who was with me, and the quilt was warped and shifted, and she's like, how the heck are you gonna fix that? And I go, let me show you, genius. And because I had done so much work with warped quilts and stuff, I just did it. It wasn't, so I guess, don't worry about the money. It'll come. It'll come. It'll come if you're good. If you have put time into it. Like right now, I could literally be making a lot of money on tumblers. So I got one of my machines set up to do tumblers. I'm figuring out some specific, stop. And I turned the machine to do tumblers. And so the AC guy who came, I go, hey, do you want a tumbler? And I literally bought a whole bunch of tumblers at Amazon. And he's like, yeah. So I literally grabbed the tumbler and I set up the tumbler. I'm like, what do you want on it? And the reason I'm doing free tumblers or giving away these tumblers is not because I just want to be giving away. In doing something and giving it to somebody else, I'm learning a skill on that laser. So I made a tumbler for one of the AC guys and I gave it to him, and it was such a treat because now every time I make a tumbler to give away to somebody, I'm not charging them. I'm learning the skill. I'm learning how to work the computer, how to work the program, how to work everything. And every time I use it, I feel more comfortable and more confident. So if down the line I get an order of tumblers, I can say, you know what? I know how to do it. Go ahead and bring me the order of 20 tumblers. I'm ready for you. But at this current time, I'm just practicing. Like right now on the long arm quilting machine, I don't need to practice anymore. That's why I could literally sit and get this long arm quilting machine going, and I don't hesitate. Now I'm getting comfortable. I'm getting really comfortable on the live streaming, because the live streaming has been really a challenge for me to figure out. I could literally, like today I came up here and I have the camera set up in a way and I have the machine set up in a way that I could go ahead and just plug and play and I'm ready to do a live stream, when before I was struggling so much. But yeah, you'll get it and enjoy it. And it's hard. It's hard too though, but enjoy, even if it's hard. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy learning. Hey, what are you doing? You guys are eating my straws, you little turkey dogs. And it's bad for you. No, you're gonna hurt. Why? Did you swallow that? Oh no. That's what I would tell. And if you're pressured to start making money and you're pressured to like pay the payment on the long arm, whatever you're, I'm going to be honest. Anytime I get any type of equipment, I give myself a year to learn it. When I had the embroidery machine, I gave myself a year to learn how to embroider. After a year, so I was making payments on my embroidery machine, without making 1 penny for a whole year. I also did that with the long arm quilting machine. I gave myself a year, more than a year, to learn how to do the long arm. But let me just say this, and this is why I did that. I don't want the pressure of having to make a payment. So I would make the payment from my family income. And I literally allowed my family income to absorb the payment for the first year. I know that sounds crazy. The reason is I was giving myself time to train myself. And let me just tell you why. One time I took in a job on a hat job. If you don't train yourself on your equipment, it's going to cost you more. I ended up taking an embroidery job for hats, and it was a Royal Knight hat job, and it had the Royal Knight logo. And I took this job, and I didn't know how to do hats, but I took it. So my brother-in-law gave me 35 hats to do these logos. I was learning, and because I had the embroidery machine, I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. Okay. So I started working on those stupid hats. I didn't know how to digitize. So I took the job, which honestly I took the job and I shouldn't have taken it. because I hadn't practiced how to do hats on the embroidery machine. I knew how to do certain things on the embroidery machine, but hats I didn't. I ended up ruining all 30 of the hats. Yeah. I ruined all 30 hats. So so I ruined the first 15 and I went to this hat place and I ordered hats and the hats were like $10 each. So it cost me $150 to do those hats, to replace them. So then I start doing again the hats, trying to fix it because I didn't, I wanted to finish the job. I ruined those 15 hats. I remember going to the hat place again and ordering another set of 15. The lady who I was ordering the hats looked at me frustrated. The battery, okay. The lady who I ordered the hats looked at me frustrated. She was frustrated with me. She was frustrated with me. She turns around and said to me, she goes, "You don't know what the hell you're doing. Why did you even take this job?" Well, first of all, it wasn't her business why I was doing what I was doing. But she was right. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So then here I am now losing $300 because I had to pay another $150. I lost $300 trying to finish this job. Finally, after I did the next 15, I finally figured it out. I finally did the hat. I finally figured out how to do those hats. But you don't want to do that with a quilt or someone else's quilt. You just don't. It was embarrassing, but she was right. But I had to learn the hard way. I was ill-equipped, and you don't want to be working for people, and honestly, it's embarrassing. It really is embarrassing that I put myself in that position. And this lady was rude, and she should have never said what she said to me, because what did she care if I was, it wasn't her, it was my money I was spending, but I think it bothered her seeing me screwing up constantly. And so my brother-in-law ended up getting 30 made hats and then 30 well-made hats. And it was a hard lesson to learn, but I learned it. Be here. Oof, oof. Let me see. Sometimes. Yeah, you have to learn what you're doing. You have to know what you're doing when you're working. Like the other day, I was on a live stream and the back fabric of the quilt had these bearding, and it was really bad in the back. You're gonna have to know how to fix things, and I've gotten really good at fixing things when things go wrong. But that also comes with experience. That comes with practice. That just comes with like time. But yeah, I screwed up, Well-intended I was, but that lady, you don't know what you're doing. It's not her business if I did or not. But you know what? Like, do you think she's going to tell people, hey, go to Lorena to do embroidery hats? She's great. She knows what she's doing. She wouldn't even tell people about me because she knew that my work was crap because I didn't know what I was doing. See, that also affects, it affects your reputation. And honestly, You just want a good reputation. And let me just say this, there is some crazy ass people out there that even if you do the best work, you give them the best quality of work, they'll still trash talk you, and they'll still like disqualify you and make you try to justify their behavior towards you. I have a client who literally railroaded me recently, and I'm just like, wow. But before, I've had clients, and also to the clients, what happened with this? It's not. Clients are jerks. Like, just, I'm letting you know that there's clients that are just full-blown ass jerks, and you just have to be careful. There's times where I've done exactly what my client has asked me to do, and then the client turns around and says that I did it wrong. And if it wasn't for me having it documented, the client would have railroaded me and gotten the work for free. I've gotten to the point that I take pictures and videos of everything that I do for a client so they can't turn around and play games with me. I tell my clients ahead of time the things that could go wrong so they can't turn around and just... And that's what you're going to have to deal with. People who, I found one lady who was trying to get free work off of me. It was just the worst. And you're going to have some tough ass skin, man. And you have to be real kind, because clients will like to argue about everything so that they could get you on stuff. And you're going to have to be tough and not be emotionally, because you could be emotionally taken advantage of here. Clients can, I have one, man. I have one that just dirty as can be. And you're just gonna have to be tough. Let me stop. So I'm just trying to encourage you that a lot comes with this. It's not just making money. It comes with like, girl, I can tell you stories. Hold on. Oh, you're getting a lot of ads? I put it on, not too many. Sorry. The Latin Quilting and Sewing has a good video of learning. Say, baby. Well, guys, I'm going to let you go. I really do love you. I'm going to quilt this last row, and then I'm going to just let you go. Thank you for spending time with me. I really do love you. Last row we go.